Rick Harrison is the guy. Isn't the witty boss of porn stars anymore. Someone has just spilled the beans, and it's worse than anybody could have anticipated. The man who controlled the show, behind the scenes at America's most renowned pawn shop, his former assistant, has now formally testified in court. Concerning contracts, this is not the place. This isn't an individual consequence. This is a very severe accusation that involves a complex criminal organization that is deftly hidden under the guise of reality, TV fake passports, and international people trafficking. Once a trusted national figure, Rick Harrison may now be entangled in a complex web of criminal activity. The truth is starting to come to light. Now you can see every single link in the chain. Darkness is tainting the once glorious image of a television empire. To grasp the concept, watch the video. It is possible that all our previous assumptions about porn stars were incorrect. Unexpectedly, a former assistant comes forward as a witness and exposes everything. The testimony of a crucial witness, who was previously Rick Harrison's assistant, altered the course of a trial that was anticipated to go on indefinitely, or perhaps reach a stalemate, as is common in celebrity scandal trials. Her statement became viral in a matter of hours, despite the fact that she didn't reveal her identity in any way, not even by appearing on camera. She was referred to as the whistleblower by the media. She was hailed as a watershed moment by the court. The court papers indicate that this woman worked for the gold and silver pawn business for more than 5 years in an administrative and coordinating capacity. With that much time under her belt, she became an expert on every aspect of the internal system and became indispensable to the operations that transpire behind the scenes. Records of transactions, stock, human resources issues, and dealings with outside parties. She was entrusted with important tasks, such as attending international partner meetings, signing contracts on Rick Harrison's behalf, and supervising the arrival of significant shipments. As a result, she joined the select few who could perceive the shadowy side of what seemed like a respectable business plan. Her lengthy, well-organized 3-part testimony in court ran over 4 hours. I will start by explaining how she first noticed anything was off. The second piece of evidence is the physical proof of wrongdoing. Lastly, the reason why her next move was delayed for almost 3 years. My first impression was that it was simply the chaos of a fast-expanding company. A moment later, I was persuaded that I was in Las Vegas. To begin with, what constitutes the norm in this place? A chilling line was her opening statement. Shipments without conventional documentation or designated internal use, rather than for sale, were the initial warning signs, she said. Although they were marked as antiques, several of the containers were never put on exhibit or sold. On one occasion, she questioned Rick about the absence of these priceless objects on the sales floor, and he responded with a brusque tone. They have already been requested by special clients. Quit asking. It wasn't until afterwards that she discovered those things were just coverings. What was concealed within or brought with the things was the true problem, not the objects themselves. She went on to say that the last 2 years she worked there saw a dramatic rise in the amount of strangers coming through the door. Night shifts were their specialty, and they were not on staff rosters or required to sign entrance records. An Italian shipment was to be inventoried by a girl I met once. She was 17 or 18 years old, spoke Spanish, and had no knowledge of antiques. Mr. Rick was all she said when I inquired as to who had brought her. They thereafter became silent. This is what the eyewitness said. These individuals would show up for a short while and then disappear. There were no jobs they could choose from, no defined payroll, and no employment contracts. Now the judge wanted to know why she hadn't told them sooner. Nobody could dispute her answer since it was so convincing. Silence isn't weakness. It's survival when authority is concealed by millions of admirers and television celebrity. According to her, there was a time when she considered just leaving and ignoring what I witnessed. However, her perspective shifted in 2021 due to an event. She related an event that happened in the middle of September of that year. A transport mishap occurred in the warehouse, causing a young man to fall and bleed on the concrete floor. Nobody recognized him as he was brought to the emergency room. Also, there was no emergency contact information or identity listed in the patient's medical record. Overnight, the young man was nowhere to be seen at the medical facility. At that moment, things became too much. She explained that she knew she would be complicit if she remained silent. It wasn't an impulse decision for her to testify. With the help of her lawyer, she prepared for her court appearance by turning in electronic documents, internal emails, copies of questionable shipping contracts, and a roster of temporary employees, unavailable in official databases. Now that the prosecution has seen some of this evidence, they are treating it as crucial. According to authorities, her testimony was particularly crucial since it matched past arrest records involving human trafficking along the US-Mexico border, down to the smallest details. The offer of employment at a well-known Las Vegas antique shop was mentioned by at least 3 victims who testified, prior to being transferred between states. Furthermore, her testimony exposed numerous private conversations that Rick Harrison had with others who were believed to be middlemen in the trafficking. Read aloud from an email was one passage that Rick's legal team claimed was misinterpreted. However, the timing was so coincidental with an ongoing trafficking investigation in Miami that the court could not ignore it. At the end of her testimony, she made a strong statement: "Still another day." Her unequivocal delivery and the persuasive evidence she offered caused the courtroom to fall into a profound quiet. A few people in the crowd sobbed. With their cameras still at the ready, the journalists froze. Even more crucially, at that very moment, the Rick Harrison case formally transitioned from suspicion to an investigation into organized crime. The chain of events began with the testimony of one individual, not any witness, but one who had worked in the shadows before, knew the ropes, and, most importantly, spoke up when others were afraid to. Hidden behind the pawn shop lies a complex operation. The evidence presented by Rick Harrison's ex-assistant, one inquiry emerged right away. In the middle of Las Vegas, at a pornographic establishment that is famous all over the globe and visited by thousands of people every day, how could it become the epicenter of a criminal enterprise that spans continents without anybody noticing? Its operational paradigm is so complex that it allows criminal operations to be covered up by a perfect veneer of legality, celebrity status, and most importantly, public confidence. Gold and Silver Pawn Shop is among the most continuously running businesses in Nevada, according to official records. They have export and import licenses, can trade with worldwide partners, and regularly participate in international antique fairs. The store was able to complete high-value transactions with minimal oversight because of these features. Vintage timepieces, Indo-Chinese Buddha sculptures, and European and Asian antiquities were among the almost 780 foreign orders processed by the store between 2012 and 2019, with a combined worth of over $47 million. According to the assistant's testimony, however, a complex trafficking operation was hiding behind those shipments, taking advantage of the lenient inspection regulations that apply to collectible goods. The employment of counterfeit passports, seasonal labor contracts, or outdated apprenticeship programs were among the most prevalent strategies detailed for bringing foreign nationals into the United States. A Las Vegas facility that specialized in conventional antique training and research had assured them of employment. The pawnshop's back warehouse actually served as that center, subjecting the workers to hazardous conditions, lack of insurance, and inadequate or non-existent wages. Prosecutors have revealed that at least 38 confirmed cases showed indicators of forced labor, which was allegedly concealed as antique-related work. An internal code system was also disclosed by the former assistant, which is a very unsettling fact. Regular inspection processes were frequently disregarded for shipments marked with VIPX or reddish line. She recalls seeing a package coming in late at night from Central America without the right customs paperwork, but they let it sit for 48 hours before sending it to an internal partner. From Rick Harrison's warehouse, this map shows regular trips to addresses linked to further California farms or private wood businesses. These places are known to be involved in illegal labor operations, according to GPS data from one of his contracted transport trucks. Some have said that this operational approach is the epitome of gray area lawfulness, making it extremely difficult for the authorities to step in. Everything appeared to be running smoothly due to the enormous volume of transactions, low staff retention, and tight cooperation with shipping businesses. 2 separate inspections by the police in 2018 and 2019 turned up no infractions at the facility, in part because there weren't any. In response to formal grievances, and in part because all shipments seemed to have thorough documentation. The cover, the model's fame on television, was crucial to the model's longevity. A blockbuster series isn't the only thing that Pawn Stars was. It was a name synonymous with the archetypal American entrepreneur. Personable, well-informed, reliable. A simple explanation could dispel any uncertainty. Keeping tabs on every cargo would be impossible while we're filming. Comedians and tourists flock to the store for photo ops and trinkets. The ideal cover for crimes committed in plain sight, since no one ever inquired about the back rooms or behind-the-scenes operations. Strict responsibility compartmentalization was another component that ensured the system ran properly. Official business records hardly ever included individuals who were responsible for transport coordination, temporary personnel recruitment, or management, according to the aid evidence.